Hi, this is Julie Campbell with Two Peas in a Bucket, and welcome to this week's Finally Friday card tutorial. It's hard to believe, but Christmas will be here before we know it, so I wanted to get a jump start on making some holiday cards. I decided to start with this Studio Calico stamp set called Cal. It has a great alphabet, and then it also has these three circular images on the bottom of the stamp set that look like snowflakes. And that's where the inspiration for this card began. Each of these snowflake images measures 1 inch in diameter, so I used that measurement along with my Silhouette software to create a template and a cut file, and this is what the image looks like after I've cut it out. I cut one of the templates onto some wood grain pattern paper and the other onto some brown cardstock. If you don't have a Silhouette, it's easy to do. You can just use a 1-inch circle punch, or if you have a circle die, you could also use your traditional die cut machine and use it that way. This wood grain paper was part of the Wonderland paper pad, as you can see right here. And I did add some stitching along the edges just to give it a little bit more of a design. I cut out several 1 1/4 inch squares out of 6x6 pads of pattern paper. I like to use 6x6 pads because the prints are nice and small and work well on smaller projects such as cards. These top 3 squares are from the Wonderland paper pad, and then these 4 tan squares are from the This and That collection by Echo Park. I'm going to bring back the stamp set that I showed you earlier, and I have selected a stamp, one of the snowflakes here on the bottom, and I've mounted that onto an acrylic block. I'm just going to stamp the snowflake using some brown ink onto each of the 4 tan colored squares that I trimmed out earlier. Whenever I stamp, I like to always place my paper on a mouse pad. As you can see, this is just a mouse pad that I use in my crafting room. It is full of ink and it's a mess, but it makes a world of difference when you stamp. If you've ever had trouble when you're stamping getting a nice clear image, or maybe just part of your image is transferred, you might want to try this technique. I'm placing adhesive on the back of the dark brown cardstock layer, and now I'm centering each of my stamped images on my template. I'm also placing my patterned paper in place, and as you can see, I have a couple of spots that still need some decoration. So I'm going to cover a couple of white squares with some washi tape. This is a gold and translucent diagonal striped washi, and then the other one is a green grid paper tape. Just to dress up the stamped images a little, I'm going to place some cream-colored brads in the center of each snowflake. To do this, I'm just piercing some holes so that it makes it a little bit easier for my brads to be inserted. The brads are all in place, but I want to dress up this card a little bit more. I'm pulling out these badges from Studio Calico. I like it that they have a lot of dimension, and they also have an adhesive backing already in place, which makes it very easy to add to your projects. So I'm just going to add a couple of those. I'm adding a neutral colored button to the center of my card, and I don't like to add buttons that don't have any string in them. We call them naked buttons around here. So what I usually do is put some sort of string. This is some brown cord from Lawn Fawn. It's from their lawn trimmings collection. And I've just tied a little knot on the back, and I'm placing a glue dot to adhere that in place. Once I have it where I like it, then I will just trim off the excess. But I like it when a little bit shows from the back. It kind of has a rustic feel. I love card designs like this because you can really pack them with embellishments. I'm going to use some of the wood veneer trees that are found in this collection. And as you can see, this pack comes with a ton of wooden tree embellishments. I'm just going to select a couple of small ones, but as you can see, they come in all different shapes and sizes. I used a glue dot to adhere the larger tree, but the smaller tree would show the adhesive, so I just applied a tiny bit of hot glue and applied it that way. Crepe paper makes these bingo chips that have basically every number you can think of. So I decided to pull out the 25 for this holiday card, and these bingo cards would also be great for a December daily album as well. The red of this number 25 was a little bit bright, so I decided to tone it down a bit by coloring over it with a darker shade of a Copic marker. Basic Gray makes these tiny letter stickers that are perfect for card making. I'm using another Copic marker to make a customized color to use on my card. If you already have Copic markers on hand, this is a great way to stretch your supplies. I'm just placing the letters on a piece of tan pattern paper that I had left over. Just to save a little time, I went ahead and pre-made a sentiment banner. As you can see, I've spelled out Be Merry and I've notched the ends of the paper strip. I'm applying several small foam dots to the back of this wood-grained pattern paper. And then I'm going to just adhere that over the top of my embellishment sheet. I'm going to add additional foam adhesive to the sentiment banner and adhere that in place. And then the final step is just adhering the card front onto the card base. This completes this week's Finally Friday card tutorial. All of the supplies and additional information can be found at www.2peasinabucket.com. Thanks for watching.